Hocus Pocus sequel incoming. Jonathan Glazer is directing a Holocaust film, and forget about TIFF because award season starts right now. All of that and more on the Cinemateq Weekly News Wrap-Up. My name is TJ, and before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and to lightly tap that bell notification so you know every time we release brand new Cinemateq content. But enough of that self-promotion garbage. Let's get right into the news. Starting off with The Lost Boys. The 1987 Joel Schumacher vampire film could have been a whole lot gorier, according to Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland recently told Yahoo that his favorite moment of gore in The Lost Boys was cut around because it was just too darn bloody. The scene involved Kiefer's vampire coming up to a man on the beach, a bald man I might add, and biting him right in the back of the head. That specific shot did make it into the film, but according to Kiefer, he was directed to bite into it like a cake and look like a maniac. So there must be more footage of it where he's just gnawing continuously, joyously on the back of a bald man's head. And that sounds absolutely disgusting, and I really want to see it. From looking at the scene, I would say that shot was cut short in order to keep with the rhythmic pace that had been developed throughout the sequence. Or maybe the MPAA just got involved and said, no, you can't show a man eating another man's head. We don't allow that here. But tell me, what do you think? Is this something that you would like to see, or do you like The Lost Boys just as it is? Please let us know in the comments below. Moving on, Hocus Pocus is getting a sequel, and the company we all love to hate is behind it. Disney Plus has announced that they are in development of a sequel to the 1993 Halloween witch classic, Hocus Pocus. Jen D'Angelo, best known for writing and co-producing Workaholics, is going to pen the script. And that is literally the only thing we know about the film so far. However, I have to say, this could be a lot of fun depending on how they go about making it. I just kind of wish that it wasn't the company that's trying to monopolize nostalgia making this. I think that would make me a bit more excited. I don't feel great about Disney things anymore. But what do you think about the Hocus Pocus sequel? Do you think Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker should reprise their roles? What present-day actors would you use to recast the Sanderson sisters? And should my cat be cast as the new Thackeray Binks? Of course he should. He's super handsome. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Moving on, the actual start of awards season is upon us, as the Gotham Awards has announced which films are going to be nominated across its 9 categories. Not all of their categories are film related, but most of them are, so we're going to go through a couple of the big ones, starting with Best Feature Film. The nominees include The Farewell, Uncut Gems, Waves, Marriage Story, and Hustlers. Now, the Gotham Awards don't do a Best Director award, but they do give out a Best Breakthrough Director Award, and the nominees for that award include Laure de Clermont-Tonnerre for The Mustang, Kent Jones for Diane, Joe Talbot for The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Olivia Wilde for Booksmart, and Philip Humans for Burning Cane. If you want to know all the nominees, please check out the links in the description below. Now, it is important to remember that the Gotham Awards and the Oscars don't often overlap. However, since they are the first big awards to announce their nominees, they can often set the table for which films get campaigned for leading up to the Oscars. They can rise a film up and they can drag a film down depending on what happens. So what do you think about these nominations? Let us know in the comments below. Moving on, and speaking of awards season, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going back to theaters, only this time it has 10 minutes of additional footage. The new cut of the film will feature 4 brand new scenes never seen before, and it is being released today, October 25th. So get to the theaters if you haven't seen this film. It's also kind of funny to note that October 25th was also supposed to be the day that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was released in China, except Quentin Tarantino refused to recut the film because the Chinese didn't like how Bruce Lee was depicted. And so they were like, you have to change this, and he was like, nah. So I can't help but wonder, is this some kind of aha, gotcha, slight middle finger to the Chinese government, just saying like, well, you wanted less of my film and you're not getting it, so now I'm gonna release more of my film and you can't see it. In my imagination, this is exactly what happened. However, it's much more likely that since we're heading into awards season and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is gonna be making a big run for the big awards called the Oscars, you know them very well, and this is just a stunt to keep the film front and center in the mind of Oscar voters. This theory also falls in line with the fact that a couple of days ago, it was announced that Leonardo DiCaprio would be campaigned for the Best Lead Actor award, and Brad Pitt would be campaigned for the Best Supporting Actor award for their turns in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So re-releasing the film with new footage is just the first step amongst many, many steps that might just see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood crowned the King of Hollywood for 2019 in 2020, because that's when the Oscars happen. But please let us know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you planning on seeing the new recut version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? For me, the answer is no. I have to go see The Lighthouse and Parasite a bunch, and I frankly don't have time to see a film that I've already watched once. Yes, I'm that pretentious asshole, as if you couldn't tell. Moving on, Jonathan Glazer, best known for directing the film Under the Skin, will be making his return to feature filmmaking for the first time in 7 years. His next feature, a Holocaust film set in Auschwitz, will be co-produced and distributed by A24. And it was A24 who distributed his last film, Under the Skin, so they already know each other, they're already good friends. And isn't it always nice when you can work with friends, especially when it's a Holocaust movie? Glazer's script will loosely adapt Martin Amy's novel, The Zone of Interest, which is all about a Nazi officer getting the hots for his commander's wife. And honestly, I don't know how you get aroused in a concentration camp, but I guess Jonathan Glazer is here to provide us with those answers? Yeah. No word yet on when we can expect the film to be released. However, they are planning to start shooting in 2020, so my money would be on a 2021 release. And please, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you excited to see Jonathan Glazer back directing a feature film? Now here on Cinemateq, we never know how to end a video, and so instead of trying to get you to subscribe, which you already should be, or to like the video, which you definitely should, I'm just gonna tell you what films are coming out this weekend, and that's basically just Black and Blue, The Current War, and Countdown. Those are the ones coming out in wide release at least. And then in Toronto, and probably in other places, we have a widening of releases for Parasite and The Lighthouse. I'm so excited for those two. And I checked out the trailers for the other 3 films, and they look not terrible. The Current War has a pretty good cast, so that might be worth seeing. And so, to end all of this off, please let us know what films you're gonna be watching this weekend. We're a film channel, it makes sense to ask that question. Oh God, I still don't know how to end the video. Cut. This is a white balance, future TJ. White balance to this.